Hey everybody, it's Kim and thanks for stopping in today. Today's project is a repurpose on an old Shadowbox that I had sitting around at the house. You gotta watch this. Hey everybody, welcome back. Today we are going to do a little bit of a repurpose or an update to this little square shadow box. And I've had this for a while and never really knew what to do with it. So I had it hanging in my laundry room at my old house. And this is actually a note card. And I had just put some little poster tape on it and just stuck it in there. Kind of cute, but I never really knew exactly what to do with it. So this morning, I happened to remember that I had some collage paper by Tim Holtz. See if we can get that in focus. And this one is Avery. And it has got birds and branches and music notes and everything on it. Let me see if I can. So I thought this would be very pretty to just use Mod Podge and like decoupage this onto the outside part of the frame. I'll be removing this, and then as you can see on the inside, it's just white, and then we'll figure out what we want to put in here. So my collage paper, like I said, is Tim Holtz, and I believe I got that on Amazon. I've had it for a long time. I'm sure there's more. It did come in 3 separate rolls. All kind of had a vintage look to it, but he does sell different types, so you can find that at one of your local craft stores. I'm going to be using Mod Podge, which I have in a little container here, a paintbrush, and in the meantime, I'll go ahead and remove this. This was just poster ticky-tack, I guess they call it, for putting posters up on walls. So, get that stuff off of there. Throw the ticky-tack away because I don't need that. And then I'm going to scrape this out because there's just a little bit that probably would be better to have it removed in case there's any like oils or anything. And it looks like it's pretty good. So the first thing I think I'm going to do is decide what color I want to put on the inside. So I'm just kind of wiping this out right now. With it hanging on the wall, there was dust down in the inside here. And of course there'll probably be some everywhere else on it. In this box, I'm not quite sure where I got it. I'm going to have to guess Hobby Lobby or Michael's or someplace like that. Doubt it was Home Goods or TJ Maxx because it would have already had a picture in it. So let me find some paint. And I'm thinking maybe we'll do the entire inside in this pretty buff taupe color. So I'm going to give it a good coat, and I'm going to do the inside sides also. And let's just stand this up here. Looks pretty good, and it covered fairly well in one coat. So let's let this dry for a few minutes. I'm going to get my brush and some water. And with this collage paper, what I am going to do is put a coat of Mod Podge on. We can lay out pieces like this, but there will be some parts that we will be piecing in. I'm just going to cut apart a little bit here. I'm going to start with something straight though. This is very thin, like tissue paper. And you can kind of see through it. So I think what I'm going to do is just cut some strips. And as we put this on, it will lay and conform to here. So what I'll probably do is go ahead and push it around the edges here, and then we'll take a razor blade and try and cut that off evenly. Well, let's start with those. Throw that away. So this isn't dry yet, but I think we're going to be just fine. Get everything else out of the way. Grab me a brush for the Mod Podge. What a concept. I'm going to use a Mod Podge brush. If you haven't seen one of these, they are available at Michael's craft store. I'm sure Hobby Lobby carries them. They'll be over by super glues and all that, and then there's usually a big display of the Mod Podge with all its different types, and they'll be right there. So I want to get one coat of Mod Podge on here. I'll make sure I get my edges and the corners. Okay, I'll let that sit for just a minute. Once we have these all laid on there, then we're going to have to Mod Podge over them. So I think I'm going to start with just this cute little look right here. And we're going to cut into the corner so that it'll lay down. And I'm going to cut some of this off. Now granted, we can fold this in because it will sit underneath. I cut it too short, but that's all right. Make sure you get it around the edges of the corners. I'm going to cut up in the corner. Kind of like when you're recovering a chair or something. Let me see if I can get this up here. You're going to cut into your corner so that you can lay this down. I'm going to see if I can get this to lay down. And we're going to do the same thing up here in the corner. I'll try to find mine. Take some of this off. Crease it. Fold it. There we go. Same thing here. And these are nice little pieces to hang on to if we have to piece things in. Cut into your corner so you can fold that under. I'm going to let this sit for a couple of minutes. Go over and make sure everything is laying down. Then we'll get another coat on of anything that we need to cover. All right, I think we are ready to go ahead and put a coat of Mod Podge on top of our cute little birdie paper. Okay, this is pretty dry now. I have a couple little spots here where I had it on a little bit thick. I think what we're going to do is put a little wreath in here. I want to try and do something that's a little bit more fall. I was able to find a few ribbons that are on the fall side. So I've cut some ribbons up, and what I'm going to do is kind of do little rag bows. Now I'm going to trim these up, but I want to lay this out one on top of the other, and I'm just going to tie a knot. I've come across some different things to be able to put in here, and I think we may use this, and I'll end up cutting this off, get a little bit of dimension, and the eucalyptus. Got to make sure everything will fit in here, but just as an idea here. And I've got some leaves to be able to kind of help cover a few things up, and the flowers, and then I've got both this color and this color. Let's see what we can do. These are in the wedding section, the his and hers section of Hobby Lobby, and I love these things. We can bend them all kinds of ways. We can twist and make these smaller or just more individual. Can cut them shorter. I just like that they give some dimension to your projects. Make sure this is going to fit in here, and then if this is raised, that's perfectly fine. Okay. Haha, perfect. And I'm using my little Ryobi mini glue gun. Can bend these in all kinds of directions later. Glue this down underneath. There you go. Which makes this show up a little bit better. Okay. So here's what we have so far. Kind of cute. So here's what we have so far. It's kind of cute. And I may end up raising this when I put it in. I I need to figure out what I'm going to use to raise this up. I have an old pick that I used to use as a candle ring. You would twist it around here. And recently at my garage sale, I sold the piece that this was on and the person didn't want it. So I just so happened to be looking at it and I thought, oh, we could put those in there. So I've cut off a couple here and I've attached them. And all I'm doing is pulling it apart. Well, after some checking around, the idea that worked, I think is going to work the best, is little pieces of styrofoam, floral styrofoam. So I cut them up, little tiny squares, glued them on the back, and I think that raised it just enough to where these don't seem as though they're stuck in there. Then we'll sit back and look at it and decide if we need to put something in the center here. I love the nest idea, but I just don't know if it is a fall thing. I think everything sits there just nice. I was thinking about taking this one flower out and popping it down on the bottom. As much as I like it there, I don't have another one. Trying to figure out, I'm not going to be able to find what I want to put in the center, so I'm going to fill in a little bit more on the wreath so that it goes on the inside a little bit here. I'm using just little bits of stuff I had left over. We're going to finish up this wreath today, and I knew I needed to have some kind of a bird or something right in here because it really was missing something, and I was going to be out running errands, so I stopped into Hobby Lobby and to Michael's to see what I could find. And I'm going to move this out of the way. I found these at Michael's craft store and they're just adorable. Got little tiny branches off here. This is furry, and he's sitting on some little pine cones and some little pieces of wood. And then a different one just facing a different direction. And I just thought they were just the sweetest looking things. And then also an owl. And I'm pretty sure the owl is not going to go into this project, but he is really kind of cute. Stuff like this is very hard to find because people buy them up really quickly. So even though they were only 25% off, I decided to go ahead and purchase them anyway. They are regularly $7.99. So with the 3 of them, I got a pretty good deal on them. I also went to Hobby Lobby, and they had a set of 3 birds for $4.49, and they're like a little peachy and brown color, and they're all facing 3 different directions. They're each facing a different direction. So this one's straight and that one's facing the opposite direction. I could actually just set him right in here, and I do think that that would take care of it because we're getting some interest off to this side. And just for the sake of it, I'm going to see if I can push his little stem in there real quick just to see what he looks like. Wow, I like that. Gives a little bit more interest here because things are coming out of the box on this side. He's facing the correct direction. Okay, so he was my first choice. And my second choice, or I guess my other choice, is this one. He really might work. We've got the little bird glued in, and I think I made the right choice on this. I wanted to have his feathers sticking out this direction so that it created a little bit more interest and some more depth on this side. We've got great texture in here with the little twisty pieces. I've got the little beads, the flowers, eucalyptus, and then some other little odds and ends in here, and everything turned out really nice. I'm very pleased with it. This is an easy craft. This is something that you'd be able to do yourself. I think if you looked around, you'd probably find some kind of a picture frame or a little wooden box or something like that. And even if you didn't have collage paper, you can definitely take a napkin. If you can find some paper napkins like you use for parties that you like the scene on, you tear them very carefully apart until you're down to 1 ply, okay? A lot of times there's 2 or 3 plies on there, so you have to make sure and try and get it as thin as possible, and you can do the same thing. You just use Mod Podge and decoupage it right on. And the little wreath I happen to have also. Everything except for the little bird I had here at the house. So thanks for stopping in. I hope you enjoyed this craft, and we'll see you next time. Zip tie it, pull your loop up.